Chapter 2. Cue the rewrite. The soundstage had been transformed into a Berlin safe house, all rusted metal, weathered bricks, and shafts of light cutting through artificial fog. It smelled faintly of sawdust and cold steel. A fabricated world meticulously designed to look dangerous. It was the first official shoot day. The call sheet read: Scene 5, Vega and Solace interrogation sequence. Int. Safe house, night. Crew members moved like practiced ghosts across the floor, prepping lights and adjusting camera angles. Costumes were already in place. The air buzzed with caffeine, nerves, and creative tension. Tali arrived 10 minutes early, for once. She wore Vega's full costume, black tactical gear, open leather jacket, a holstered prop pistol at her thigh. Her makeup was sharp, smoky-eyed, her blonde hair slicked back into a high, severe ponytail. A woman with secrets. A woman on the edge. But Mila was in her arms. Wrapped in a soft white blanket, nestled against her chest, tiny face just visible beneath the edge of a knitted cap. The assistant director blinked when he saw her. Did wardrobe add a baby subplot I missed? Tali gave him a look. It said, say one more word. He nodded and stepped back. She paced the edge of the set, rocking gently on her heels as Mila squirmed. Her assistant, young, eager, visibly afraid of babies, hovered nearby. Don't let her cry, Tali said flatly, handing Mila over. She hates the overhead lights. The assistant gulped. Got it. Tali didn't look back. Aria Serrano, the director, clapped twice. All right. Let's make some magic. Scene 5. Tali, Rin, positions, please. Rin had arrived without ceremony. Her costume was cleaner in silhouette, charcoal grey blouse tucked into dark slacks, a holster at her hip, low heels, cool and commanding. Her expression betrayed nothing. She stepped onto the set and stood across from Tali in the dimly lit safe house, the interrogation table between them. A swinging light cast shadows across her face like slashes of moonlight. Sound speed. Rolling. Scene 5. Take 1, action. Tali leaned across the table, voice low and sharp. I don't care what agency you came from. Tell me who burned the Prague mission. Rin didn't flinch. I'm not here to trade names. A beat. Tali's hand slammed the table, the metal ringing out. You think this is a game? Silence. Then Rin's voice, calm as glass. You think I care what you believe? The tension stretched like wire. A breath. A pause. Aria called, cut. She stepped forward, nodding. Good. Good tension. But I want less control from you. Tali Agent Vega is unraveling here. She's afraid it's personal. Play it closer to the chest. Tali nodded stiffly. Rin adjusted the sleeves of her blouse and stepped back to her mark. As the camera crew reset, Tali turned, just slightly, and caught sight of Mila in the distance, restless in her assistant's arms. The baby was squirming, face puckered. About to cry. Tali's jaw tensed. She turned back toward the set before anyone could see. No one saw. Except Rin. She watched the way Tali's spine stiffened. Watched the flicker of maternal panic break through the mask and vanish again just as fast. Rin said nothing. But she saw. They filmed the interrogation scene 3 more times. Each take hit harder. Tali's voice cracked in the 3rd. Rin's eyes finally flared with restrained fire in the 4th. Aria called for silence between takes, wanting the room to hold its breath. It did. By the 5th, the crew had stopped checking their watches. No one said it aloud, but the magic was there, raw, layered, unscripted in ways the page couldn't capture. Even the camera operator lingered longer than necessary when Rin lifted her eyes just slightly at the end of a line. When Aria called cut, she smiled. That's the one. Tali stepped off set quickly, makeup already starting to smudge from sweat and fatigue. The moment she was out of view, her entire body seemed to sag. She made it to the craft table and leaned against it, hand pressed flat to the surface. Her assistant approached cautiously. Mila won't nap. I tried rocking her. Pacifier. She's just loud. In the distance, Mila's crying started again, louder now, more distressed. Tali closed her eyes. "I've got it," she muttered. She didn't wait for a reply. She walked fast, stripping off her holster belt mid-step. The boots she wore weren't meant for running, but she ignored the pinch at her heels. Mila's wail grew louder as she reached the staging area. Tali reached into the stroller, scooped her up, held her close. The crying stopped almost immediately. But Tali didn't move. She stood in the semi-dark of the hallway, back to the wall, holding Mila tight. Her face didn't change, but her eyes were wet. No one saw, except Rin. From across the set, hidden between shadowed scaffolding and the glow of a monitor, she watched silently. Flashback, university, 6 years earlier. Rin sat on the floor of their shared film lab suite, barefoot, legs crossed, splicing a scene frame by frame. Her hair was tied in a loose knot, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands. It was 2:07 a.m. according to the blinking monitor clock. The room smelled faintly of coffee and burnt toast. Tali was asleep nearby on the couch, curled into herself, one hand hanging off the edge with a half-eaten pack of Skittles in her palm. They were editing a short film together, a messy, experimental noir. The project had already taken over their lives. And maybe something else had, too. Rin's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She should have left an hour ago. She always told herself that. But she stayed. Because Tali made her laugh. Because Tali made her feel understood. And also terrified. Rin glanced at her. And just like that, Tali's eyes opened. "I wasn't sleeping," she mumbled. "You were drooling on your own arm." Tali smirked. Then her smile faded. "Hey." Rin didn't answer. Tali sat up. "Why do you always leave before sunrise?" Rin looked back at the monitor. "Habit. It feels like you're leaving something behind every time." Rin finally turned. Tali's voice was low, uncertain. "Am I wrong?" A pause. Then a whisper, barely audible. "I can't afford to be wrong about you." Rin stood up fast, blinking. "I should go." She left without saying goodbye. And didn't come back for 4 days. Present day, Hollywood set. Rin blinked hard, clearing the memory from her eyes like dust from a lens. She moved before she had time to think. She found Tali still standing in the hallway, Mila now dozing against her chest. The woman looked like a marble statue, beautiful, exhausted, frozen. Rin approached slowly, careful not to startle her. Okay?" she asked. Tali didn't look up. "Yeah. Just needed me." There was no sarcasm. No wall. Just truth. Rin stood beside her, close enough to notice the way Tali's arm trembled slightly beneath Mila's weight. "Go sit down," Rin said softly. "You've been on your feet for 10 hours. Tali hesitated. But then, for once, she didn't argue. She walked to the break room, sat in the quiet, and held her niece like a shield. Rin watched through the cracked door for a moment longer. Then went back to set. By mid-afternoon, the temperature on set had risen, not the heat of the lights, but the tension coiling just beneath the surface. Scene 17 was next, a subtle interrogation reversal where Solace, Rin, took control, questioning Vega, Tali, in a hotel room under the pretense of protection. It was the script's first moment of vulnerability between them. Rin reread the lines as she sipped from a thermos. She had written small marks in pencil between certain beats, places to hold back, places to lean in. She didn't like improvising emotional rhythm. Not anymore. On the monitor nearby, B-roll footage from earlier played in the background, lighting tests, movement blocking. Rin caught a glimpse of herself adjusting a holster and frowned slightly. And then the camera panned. It caught Tali in profile, off-script, laughing with a crew member as Mila gurgled in her lap. Rin froze. It was a quiet laugh. Not the loud, public one Tali usually used. This one curved at the edge, slightly worn. A kind of laugh that knew better. Before she could look away, Tali glanced toward the camera. She didn't smile. She didn't pose. She just looked. And Rin looked back even through a screen. Scene 17 was staged in a fabricated penthouse room, with moody shadows, silky curtains, and subtle tension in every corner. A single bed dominated the frame, not for intimacy, but for implication. The kind of danger that slept beside you, not across a battlefield. Rin stood beside the small bar prop, pouring fake scotch. Tali sat on the edge of the bed, jacket half off, holding her character's wounded arm with a tight grip. A fake gash had been painted across her bicep, too realistic, the makeup artist had said. Scene 17, take 1. Silence fell. Rin crossed the room, set the glass beside Tali. You need to let someone in, she said, Solace's voice, low and almost gentle. Tali looked up. You offering? Rin let the silence linger. You used to believe in something. What happened to her? Tali's expression shifted. Softened. She got tired of waiting. A pause. Rin knelt slowly in front of her. A breath passed between them. And then Arya called, cut. The director stepped forward. Hold on, she said, nodding toward Rin. That last move, kneeling, keep that. But Tali, I want the response a second earlier. You've been waiting for her to see you. That moment, give it space, then shut it down. Tali nodded. They reset. This time, the energy changed. Rin knelt again. Tali looked at her, not in character, not fully out of it either. Her eyes flickered.